Welcome, guys. Welcome to Epstein is Still Alive. Official documentation. No, you did not read that title incorrectly. Yes, Epstein is still alive, and we are going to prove it here today. Listen, I'm happy that you guys are in this room today. If you don't know, I built this platform, PenPub. Brenda, Terry, Tam, thank you for being here. I think I seen Terry's purchase of my book planned last night or this morning, I believe it was. So thank you guys for, the people who have purchased the book. If you don't know where that is, that's right over here. And you can go to planbyty.com. Again, that's right down here, planbyty.com. And that way you can get over to this website where you'll be able to log in and you'll be able to get a beautiful copy of my book planned. So that's right there. I appreciate you guys being in the room today, hanging out with me. We have some heavy information, as the title suggests. Epstein is still alive, official documentation. Listen, let me put it over here real quick so you guys can see. This is what we're going to cover. We're going to get right to it, right? First, I want you to remember, this is a key theme right here. A coincidence plus another coincidence is not equal to just another coincidence. Okay? We have to remember that, guys, because they want to keep gaslighting us and making us think that all these coincidences only add up to just coincidences. And I refuse to believe that. So I made this little equation here so that you guys can realize, throughout this conversation, quick conversation we're going to have, these things are not coincidences at all. So let's get started. Jeffrey Epstein's coroner report stated he had a prostate. Now, you guys can go look this up. Jeffrey Epstein's coroner report is obviously, it's either A, lying, which I don't think it is, or B, they have the wrong body. Jeffrey Epstein didn't have a prostate. He had it removed. Okay, so that's the first coincidence. The second coincidence, David Epstein, which is listed on the DOJ's Office of Inspector General Forensic Report, is the person who's listed, David Epstein. It's not Jeffrey Epstein, it's David Epstein. And I'm going to show you guys that in a second. Okay, that's a bombshell right there. All right, read that again. David Epstein is listed on the DOJ Office of Inspector General Forensic Report. Jeffrey Epstein's spouse is Juan Epstein. I know you're reading this like, yo, where is this guy going? Are you serious? Jeffrey Epstein doesn't have a spouse named Juan. That's crazy. Yeah, I know. Juan, John, and Jose Alessi are all the same man. J. Epstein and Company applies more than one owner. Are Jeffrey and Ghislaine somewhere in South America? Okay? Without further ado, let's get into it. So, the forensic report, right? The forensic examination, this is a report of forensic examination. Again, it says right there, U.S. Department of Justice, just so you guys can see it. As a matter of fact, for you guys who are watching a recording of this after the live, I'm going to blow it up on the screen for you a little bit here. There you go. This is my platform. So I'm able to do things like this that are cool. No software installs. For the people who are in the audience, they'll tell you they jumped in here, they filled out the login thing, they logged in, they jumped in, clicked on pen chat, and they're in here. They didn't have to install anything, and they get to see what I'm presenting on my computer, and I'm able to talk to them with high quality audio anywhere in the world, global, uncensored, decentralized. That's what PenPub is all about. We're connecting authors with readers, and we're putting a social platform on the back end to be able to do so that we can beat these algorithms from these centrally controlled social media companies. So that's my little spill there. Check it out. Report of forensic examination, U.S. DOJ, okay, Office of the Inspector General. Now, this is something where they wanted to pull the hard drives from the correctional facility that Jeffrey Epstein was at. I'm just going to read to you the second paragraph, for time purposes. Devices 1 and 2 were located and seized from MCC's special housing unit where former inmate David Epstein was housed. at the time of his suicide on August 10, 2019. I don't know about you, but I've done a lot of investigations. I've read a lot of reports. The forensic reports like this and the things that they're doing to make sure that, all their I's are dotted and their T's are crossed, this is not a normal mistake. If you spell Jeffrey wrong, sure, that I get it, right? You maybe um, you spell Jeffrey instead of with an EY, you spell it with an I. It's very interesting, but that's not what happened here, right? That's not what even the J and D when you're typing on the keyboard, they're going to be hit with the opposite hand. So it's not a mistake as far as just typing a different letter. This is a completely different name. Okay. So that was what I initially had to bring you guys. I was like, I can't believe this. Got him. Forensic report. David Epstein. I can explain the name to them. They're going to understand this. Guys, that's the second coincidence, right? The prostate thing, first coincidence. This right now, David Epstein, second coincidence, right? Okay. Now, like I said, he has a spouse named Juan. So this is the one I was going to do for you and just bring you this information. Then I got over to this document. This document right here is a full-fledged document that is this is one of the biggest documents that was dropped to us. Now, I don't think they understand the implications of what's in here. Everybody, go get this immediately. Go get this document for my researchers out there, independent journalists like myself. Go get this immediately. If you do not have this document, you're missing out on a lot of data points, a lot of information you might want to use. The AI can help you to summarize a lot of this data. So get this document, use this for your arsenal, right? Um, I used to work in debt collections. I used to work with LexisNexis, and there's a lot of data I was able to pull off of there, so I can be able to. I was able to collect very efficiently. I was one of the top collectors at the company. So I say all that to say this. Whatever data report this is so much more data than I was privy to, and I had a lot. When I called you on that phone, I knew everything about you. You know everything that I needed to know about you. What accounts you had open, your revolving balances, everything, your last payments that you were making on accounts that weren't even associated with anything that I had that I was collecting on. I had everything. So whatever these intelligence agencies have is a lot more powerful than this is the stuff we see on the movies where they're able to pull your whole file. And when they pull your whole file, they get information like this. They're able to pull your file and the relatives around you, and they get information like this right here. They get all the social security numbers and date of births of everybody. That's Scott Epstein right here. Here's Howard Epstein. Okay. And we can keep going down. There's all these potential first line relatives of Jeffrey Epstein are listed in this file. Now, why am I telling you this and why is this important? Let me show you why. Um, First of all, let me also show you this. Whenever they do it, like this right here is located next to a school. One of his businesses down in St. Thomas. This is the one where they drove the boat from here over to Little St. James, I think it's called Little St. James. Um, LSJ, yeah, Little St. James's Island, Epstein Island. Of course, is located next to a high school. But this is why I'm telling you this, how powerful this report is. So, just kind of giving the report some validity. Even these houses that are up here in this area that are around this business and houses and neighborhoods that are around Jeffrey Epstein's, they're able to literally pull, and part of this report here, you'll see it, when you pull it on your end. I'm not going to go through it here, but they're able to pull the data of all the neighbors. So this implies that whatever intelligence agency this was that put this report together, whenever you can pull all the datas and pull all their socials as well by address, pulling socials by address is something that's a superpower that we don't get as regular citizens. Okay. I didn't have that power as a debt collector and using the LexisNexis software and having access to that. I didn't have that kind of superpower. Um, this is next level. This is a report that is an official report, right? So let's go up to the interesting part that we're all here for, right? So if we look at Jeffrey Epstein's information, let's go down. This is how I found it. I'm going to give it to you in real time. Let's make this full screen so you can see exactly how I found it. So I'm looking through this and I'm looking for David Epstein, right? And I found David Epstein. We'll do that in a second. Um, but this is when I found that other coincidence, right? I'm scrolling. I get down here to his profile. I'm reading. Date of births are blocked out. And I'm like, why is there more than one date of birth? That's, odd, whatever. And I look again and I'm like, hmm, spouse name. Who's Juan? I don't remember him being married and I don't remember him being a homosexual. So I said, that's interesting. Then I got here and it said marriage license, yes, divorce, no. That means this document, which is uh, right there, done in 2018, this document is means very possibly at the time of his death, Jeffrey Epstein was married to a man. That didn't jive well with me. I said, no, everything that I've seen about Epstein, I'm not saying that he wasn't involved in that community at all. I don't know, but everything that I've seen about Epstein has been women and very very young girls, children, right? So this was an anomaly. One, that he's married. Two, that he's married to a man. Okay, I scrolled down a little more, and I hit this picture. And I said, "Whoa!" I said, "He looks Spanish in this picture. He looks like a Juan." Wait a second. Juan starts with a J. He looks Juan. He looks Juanish right there. Hey, hold on. Is Jeffrey Epstein Juan? And this is what confirmed the question when I looked right here. J. Epstein and Company Incorporated. It hit me like a ton of bricks. If you wanted to fake your death, of course you'd have a fake body, which they have. Um, the forensic documentation would show a different name. It's still showing Epstein, but a different Epstein. And then the third part is you have to legally be able to still control your money. The businesses don't die with you. The businesses are controlled through a trust that moves on. Um, but if you wanted to still be able to control that trust, you'd have to have legal entrance into, your entities and structure, unlimited legal entrance, especially if you're faking your death and you're not dead. Here's the perfect way to do it. J. Epstein and Company Incorporated. You could put Juan in there. You could put Jeffrey in there. The J doesn't have to stand for Jeffrey. It could stand for Juan Epstein. And we would never know that this man is still controlling these entities or some of these entities without us ever knowing that he's literally still alive. So, with that piece of the presentation, I bring you over to a coincidence plus a coincidence plus another coincidence. It's not just another coincidence. You mean to tell me that the coroner got a body that had a prostate in it? That's not Jeffrey Epstein. On the DOJ's Office of Inspector General's forensic report, David Epstein is listed. That's not Jeffrey Epstein. Juan is listed as the spouse of Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein is not a gay man that we know of. And when we look at who Juan is, let's get to who Juan is. Juan, John, and Jose Alessi are all the same man. Well, who's Jose Alessi? Who's Juan? Who's John? Who are all these people, right? I'm glad you asked. So, Jeffrey Epstein's houseman is named Juan Alessi. Now, the police report says, and I would tell everybody, Get this batch of files too. They don't want you to have this one either, right? Get this file immediately. Download it. There's a lot of Palm Beach information in there that you need. And I'm going to tell you why in a second. Um, so this report tells me something that's a little bit of an anomaly. I believe that this lady's name is Mary. It's a female. I believe this is Mary Alessi, which is Juan Alessi's ex-wife. Okay, so at this time of this report, she would have been, I guess, 56 years old. And we know that Juan Alessi, I believe, was born in 50. Um, so at the time of this report, he would have been roughly about the same thing, I think, somewhere around there, around his 50s. Um, Either way, he'd have been in his 50s as a, still not that old of a man, right? Now, what I did notice is there's a different address here listed for a John Alessi at a different age and a different birthday. This is not Juan Alessi's birthday. I don't know if this is his son. I don't know if he has a son. Could very well be, his son. So not really sure on that. Kind of that's up in the air if folks want to kind of dive down that rabbit hole a little bit. What I have noticed is that they use the name interchangeably throughout the documentation of Juan, John, and Jose. So these three J's show up kind of, interchangeably throughout this documentation. Long story short, this is what I kind of think happened. Let me just tell you like this. Go over here, guys. First of all, thank you for all these followers. I went to sleep at 9.6 thousand followers, somewhere around there. And I'm up to 10.7 now. So whatever big name out there shared out my post overnight, thank you. I really appreciate you guys. You guys are showing me so much love, and I appreciate it more than you know. But I want you guys to go over here, right? And here's that post right there, right? I appreciate you guys on this post. Let me show you something. This right here. Trump and Epstein, how they got away with it, part one. I have it open right here on the screen. Now, I think that you guys should really, really go watch this. In this, I document exactly how all of this was boarded up. They don't want you to know this house no longer exists, right? They tore this house down. This is Epstein's old house. If you change the date right here to 2011, you too can see this as well. This is Epstein's old house, right? And I tell you in this video, I walk you through everything in this video, right? How they got away with this for the first time anywhere in the world in life. I unveiled to you, like I'm the only independent reporter to ever report this. So you're getting two stories in one on this video, right? Watch. This right here was a waterway, a private waterway that's right here. That's why it looks like this right now, because this is an entranceway right here, right up in here. This is an entranceway for boats to be able to go in. And I'll show you back in here. When they went in that entranceway right there, it kind of led in right here. Okay. And there was a docking area. Let's go back to it. There was a building that was right here before all this was torn down, where the boats could pull in and you can load and unload here, had a wall here so you wouldn't be able to see for the rest of the world wouldn't be able to see. And all the trees were grown over. They were kind of grown over right here. So you couldn't see it from the air. You couldn't see it if you were a neighbor. You couldn't see it from out here in the boating world. It has, there's no line of sight or visibility along this line right here. Um, you couldn't see anything. You'd be able to pull a private boat right up in here, be able to get out right here, and then go into one of the many rooms that were located on side of the house, right? Now, this this setup was very advantageous um, to run a business out of, right? And this is why I made the argument in that video and that you should all go watch, right? Do not miss the opportunity to see this. Trump and Epstein, how they got away with it, part one. It was very advantageous for Epstein because he was able to run a full massage parlor slash sex slave brothel for him and his elite buddies. And they were able to basically hide in plain sight their trafficking activities. And then they could host these massage rooms up here on the second floor of this house that he had. And then with the elevator that was in the house. Okay. Now, I'll walk you guys through a video another time. These are just some screenshots from the video I have. Again, I have Epstein files that other people don't have. So it, yeah, I'll show you more of these files as in the coming days. So make sure you follow me. Make sure you get this information out there. But this is the elevator in that two-story house, right? So the elevator in this two-story house, in my opinion, right, and from what I could see in the video, I don't think it just goes up and down between the first and the second floor, right? I truly believe that there was an elevator in this house, and I believe that this elevator was the only access to the basement, where I believe is where the girls, the sex slave girls in particular, were actually kept. Because it is known that he did purchase girls. So he purchased girls, he brought them into the country. They don't want to talk to you about the land, air, and sea trafficking that are all together. All three modalities are together to complete this operation. This is how you do international sex trafficking of minors and women, and children and women. So they're using all forms to be able to do this. And I believe that this elevator went down to the basement to be able to retrieve any of the, girls that these elite visitors that are coming into this private waterway right here would be able to um, select. Now, for the rest of it, for the hidden cameras that were in the house and how the hidden cameras possibly saw, all the activity, there's that building that I was telling you about, the loading area right there. Okay. The waterway is right over here. It's right over here. And the boats would be able to pull in right here. They can go ahead and, get out, if you will, right over here. And they would be able to come right inside, and be able to go up to the second floor and have their services rendered. This is in front of Epstein's desk, looking out into the water area, so you can see any boats that are coming in. And this is the hidden camera back here that was behind Epstein's desk that would have seen all of that activity, and that the detectives saw other girls on the video footage when they were able to take the computer, this computer right here, from Jeffrey Epstein's Palm Beach home, the computer that says "do not touch" on it, right there. Okay, see that? Do not touch. So this is the computer that was running the surveillance that they took from the house, the surveillance of the garage, and the surveillance of the spy camera that was set inside of a clock behind his desk. That would have caught all the incoming boat traffic that was also coming in, which would have compromised any of the clients on his client list. He operated a shadowy operation that kept his clients pretty much shielded, and that's what they relied on. Epstein for was for anonymity, for safety, for so they can be able to do the nefarious things they were doing and get away with it because he provided that privacy and protection for them. Well, this is how he slipped up by trying to catch Juan Alessi, the person stealing the money, which I now no longer think he was trying to catch Juan Alessi. I think this was an operation. Let me explain to you why. So he's having money stolen from him, right? And it was stolen on several encounters. I will tell you this. Go get this file again, download this, and you go read this yourself. You can type in page 2414. It'll lead you right here. Okay. So I believe that he kind of set Juan Alessi up um, with the spy cameras so that he could see get the video of him actually stealing this money and stealing his gun as well. When he stole the money and when he stole the gun, um, basically the police officers came out to Epstein's home and they did a report and all that kind of stuff. And they needed to obtain a copy of the surveillance from his computer hard drive in order, and all of that stuff. So um, he didn't have a copy, but he was going to get a copy of the made because he didn't know how to use the computer portion of it. Now, granted, a company helped him set that up, and I believe a couple other officers from the Palm Beach Police Department also came out and made sure it was set up correctly or something like that prior to him actually getting the footage of Juan Alessi doing this, right? So all of this happens, right? And we see here they call him Jose Alessi in this one, right? And they say he's the former houseman. So we know that he's called Jose. We know that he's called Juan. We know that he's called John, right? When we go a little bit further up in the documentation, it says John Alessi here, right? Um, so let's move over to here. Now, Epstein did all of that to come over here and to do this. Now, this I'm going to kind of read to you a little bit because I think you know, it's important enough for you to understand what actually happened here. So, bear with me for 1 second. Let's go ahead and read this together. All right. On Monday, hold on, let me make sure you guys and girls can hear me. Can you guys and girls hear me down there in the basement area? If you guys and girls can hear me in the basement, let me get at least one thumbs up or a wave. Brenda, I know you were in the room a second ago. Are you still in the room with us, Brenda? Can you hear us? I know Brenda was just in here just before I got started. Oh, yeah, Brenda's still there. There she is. All right. Thanks for being here, Brenda. Really appreciate you being in here. So Brenda can hear us. We're doing a good job. All right. That's exciting. I'm so excited that you guys are actually getting what I'm putting together here and joining us like this. So everybody give Brenda some love. She's a rock star for being here and believing in Pen Pub and being here for the actual live broadcast. And see, you guys could have been here too. You guys could have been right in the room with us, right? All right. So this is important. Let's just get to it, right? Because when I tie the rest of this together, you're going to be able to see um, that you're going to be able to see what I'm talking about. I'm going to bring it home for you now. On Monday, 10/13/03 at 2 p.m., Mr. Jeffrey Epstein came into the police department and informed me that earlier today he met with his former houseman, Juan Alessi, at the pharmacy in Palm Beach. Epstein stated that he presented Alessi with a photograph obtained off the video surveillance system, whereby Alessi admitted to breaking into the house and taking the money. Alessi told Epstein that he broke into the house to take a gun that Epstein usually keeps behind his desk. He could not find the gun, so he took the money. Alessi said he and his wife are having problems and they no longer live together. I believe that's the lady Mary I was telling you about. He wanted the gun because he was contemplating suicide. Epstein stated that Alessi has already returned $2,000 of the stolen money and that he will be making arrangements with Alessi to pay off the remaining funds. I asked Epstein if he knew of Alessi's current address or phone number, and Epstein said that Alessi was going to call him at 5 p.m. today and he would make arrangements for Alessi to come into the police station to be interviewed. Wait, what? Let's unpack that. Hold on 1 second, guys. Sorry about that, guys. I'm back. A quick little interruption there. But let's unpack this, right? So, what what is being said in this report is you had spy camera equipment installed. Their words, his words, the police officer's words. They had spy camera equipment installed in Epstein's home, right? They catch the person who did it. The police know that this person is caught who actually did this crime. Okay. They're looking for the address. They want the phone number. Epstein reaches out to Alessi, finds him, meets up with him on his own, with a photograph of him off of the surveillance footage to speak to him. Let's stop there. If that is the case, Epstein is a pretty brave man. He's a pretty brave man to go to somebody who just stole a gun from you. A gun, okay? He just stole a gun from you in thousands of dollars. And you want to meet him in the parking lot? You want to meet him in the parking lot somewhere to talk to him? I had to let you see my face for this. Come on. Come on. So it gets better. Let's keep going. So you want to meet this man in the parking lot to talk to him. You show him the picture. He admits it. Says he didn't steal your gun. Says he's suicidal. All right. And then you take that information to the police officers, and the police department in Palm Beach tells you, okay, we're happy you got the information. Can you put us in contact with them? Let us verify the information because we're law enforcement. And you're Epstein and you shut them down and you tell them, nah, I'm going to have him call you at 5, and then I'm going to make some arrangements for him to come down and talk to you guys. What? How do you have that authority? That's interrupting in an investigation. A crime occurred, a robbery. So you, as the person, the victim, have now interfered in this investigation that has involved the police department. And now you are speaking on behalf of the person who's perpetuated the crime, a high dollar amount, thousands, and on top of it, a possible weapon. So not only did you not have to show the police department your paperwork for this gun and that it was properly registered, that's on the other video. Again, go watch this video over here. Okay, go watch that, Trump and Epstein, how they got away with it, part 1. So you didn't have to do any of that, right? But now you get to kind of talk crazy to him a little bit and say, I'll make the arrangements for you to talk to Juan. Okay, let's read the rest. Epstein stated he no longer wants to prosecute. Okay. So you no longer want to prosecute Alessi, but you are concerned over the fact that the gun is still out there somewhere in the world. And Alessi said he doesn't have it, right? And right here it says Alessi returned to $2,000 and out of the $2,700. We're going to keep the reading at that. You guys could, of course, go, read more in both of these documents. This document right here, and I believe it was, let me see, this one too, right here. Just, screenshot those documents if you need to, but you guys can continue reading more into that. So we are to believe now that Jeffrey Epstein basically became an advocate for Juan Alessi, maybe felt bad for him, that he couldn't have felt bad for him initially because he didn't know the story. So I guess initially Epstein felt brave and said, I'm going to meet this guy on my own with no police department and go get my money, a couple $1,000s to a billionaire, right? Go get my money and go get my gun back in a drugstore parking lot. We're really supposed to believe that? No, I don't think that's what happened at all, right? Let's review it. I think what actually ended up happening, and I'm going to give my story now. I think that what Epstein decided to do, I think he said, if you're going to rob me, I'm going to set you up. I'm going to honeypot you. Epstein, the agent, probably procured out of one of the gifted and talented programs as a child because he was really good with numbers. And again, that's what they do to a lot of us gifted and talented children. They put us in those programs, and then we get all these opportunities in places. I worked on the inside for a little bit. I had a security clearance, and Was an information systems analyst for the Army at one time and worked in some secure places with General Abrams and, worked at TRADOC. And I've seen a lot and I've done a lot. And when I look back over it now, and I realize I was probably procured from a young age because of the gifted and talent programs and stuff like that. And some of the things that I was involved in because of that. And like I was installing fiber optics for the school in the 1990s before anybody even knew what fiber optics were. I was working with those guys and, installing that kind of stuff as a teenager. I'm like in the newspaper for that stuff and everything. So, long story short, I think that they procured Jeffrey Epstein at a very young age. And I think that they groomed him to become an intelligence asset. And I believe that over time, they did the same thing to Donald Trump as well in his 30s. They groomed him as well. He's given millions, and since the 70s, he actually helped to give millions out of his personal money to help resettle Israel into the place of where it's located today. That was Donald Trump that did that. That's why they have so much love for him. He's been giving money to them for over 45 years, right? So he's been doing it for longer than I've been alive. He's been giving money to the state of Israel, which is why I say Trump's presidency is illegitimate. That's another breaking story that I'll be covering in part 2 of what I'm telling you guys to go over here and go watch. Go watch this. This is a huge story right here. How they got away with it. Part 2, I'll be covering all of that, right? So basically, they procured this talent out of Jeffrey Epstein. They groomed him as an agent to get high up in the upper echelons and levels of these secret societies. Hence the temple on his island right there. They groomed him to get high up in these upper echelons, put him into these. They knew that they had Epstein compromised too. They put Epstein and his handler, Ghislaine, into these positions to be able to bring in these targets, these high class or high profile, they weren't high class at all, high profile businessmen from around the world. Businessmen, religious leaders, athletes, stars, all kinds of people knew Jeffrey Epstein, just the same way when Trump was throwing all his parties and modeling his life after Epstein's, how everybody started knowing Donald Trump, TV show. Anyway, so they all knew Epstein, right? So he was groomed into a position where he had access. That's what my book is based on. It's the new access-based economy that we're going into, right? That's what my book Planned is based on. So they groomed Epstein into a place of access where people would feel comfortable. And now you have thousands of hours of video and audio recordings of these people from all around the world who are just comfortable sitting in these settings with Epstein talking about whatever they want to talk about. High quality recordings that were, could only be done by intelligence assets, as in our government here in the United States and also the state of Israel. So they all felt comfortable with this asset, this agent named Jeffrey Epstein, right? And they would all come to this brothel and to his other locations by land, sea, and air, which is what they want to hide to you about in Palm Beach and how this is connected to Mar-a-Lago, 1.8 miles away, right? Pull out of here, go around this little piece here, and you're right there at Mar-a-Lago, okay? This is all connected, land, sea, and air. They're hiding this. This is a business. This is a brothel. So they want to hide all of this stuff, right? In the fact that he was groomed into this agent, because eventually, in my mind, I believe the very next thing that ended up happening was Epstein outsmarted the entire system. You have the first coincidence of the body. Now we're realizing it's not Epstein's body. Okay, that is a massive, massive problem. We have the second coincidence: a report of forensic examination stating a different name entirely. Massive problem. who is David Epstein, right? That's also, we'll get to that in a second. Um, and now you have the third coincidence that Epstein is a married man and he's married to another man named Juan off of an official complete scraping of his life. They've scraped every piece of data and information from all his ownerships of all the companies and his stake of ownerships in the companies, all the socials of the people surrounding him and potential family members, everything about him. So we know that this is an official report. We don't have the marriage license, but we see that he is married and he's married to Juan. So a coincidence plus a coincidence plus another coincidence, they want us to believe that it's just another coincidence. I'm telling you, it is not equal to just another coincidence. It is not. This is too many coincidences to fool us, okay? To completely fool us and to make us look stupid. J. Epstein and Company Incorporated does not have to be Jeffrey Epstein and Company Incorporated. In fact, Jeffrey Epstein, in my opinion, a compromised Juan Alessi. Do not do anything to Juan Alessi. Don't go hunting him down or anything like that. Juan Alessi is an older man. Don't do anything if Juan Alessi has kids or an ex-wife. Leave them alone too. I'm just giving you a story. Do not interfere in these people's lives at all, for any reason. Don't call them, don't harass them. I'm telling you that right now, but I'm giving you the story as it's laid out. So I believe he met there with him, and I believe that the man who was compromised and groomed to become the asset that he was, I believe that he literally went there and he groomed and turned Juan Alessi into an asset and gave him an offer he couldn't refuse. Basically, you won't have any jail time. I won't turn you in, and I'll control the situation as long as you basically do what I asked you to do, play ball. And I believe in that playing ball, back during that time frame of '03, I believe that what Jeffrey Epstein was able to concoct was a way to be able to access his finances and all of his wealth and all of his various properties and information, even in death, quote unquote death. So he knew that he can exit the system, i.e., fake his death, restart somewhere else, a little bit of plastic surgery, change, your facial structure just enough, gain a little bit of weight, and you already have the look. Now you become Juan. Okay, dye your hair. Now you become Juan, just a Spanish guy in a Latin country somewhere, living his life, got a bunch of money, made his money from God knows what, but he's just living in his life and kind of out of the eye of the public, so you don't see him much. That's why we see this fake Ghislaine Maxwell that's down there in prison is not the real one, because I'm guaranteeing you she's with Epstein. If I'm Epstein and I'm sitting in New York and I make the call and I say, you got 48 hours to get me out of here and stop playing with me before I crash this entire stock market in multiple countries. Stop playing with me. You're going to get Epstein out right away. And I believe Donald Trump, again, they fought over a property, a 50-car garage property right there. And I don't have that up for you guys, right? But there's a 50-car property that these gentlemen fought over right here in Palm Beach. And I cringe at the word gentleman, right? They were anything but. They fought over this 50-car garage property because supposedly Epstein kept stealing money, stealing girls away from Mar-a-Lago. Okay. They talked about that with Virginia Giuffre, how she worked at Mar-a-Lago, was one of quote unquote Trump's girls, and Trump says that Epstein kept stealing girls from him. Now that's very weird for a man of that age to say, who's an international businessman, and this is a young lady who is underage who's working at your facility, and she shouldn't be considered one of your girls. You shouldn't even know who she is. Just to be honest with you. Okay, that's for lower level management to know if she's working a summer job or whatever the case may be. Um, that's kid parents that watch where your kids work, okay, and what they're doing. This is why, okay. Donald Trump back then considered her one of his girls. Why? So Epstein stole her, and I believe because of doing this several times, um, it was just quite easy to see why Donald Trump decided to steal the 50-car garage property that's located over here, um, from from Epstein. He didn't want him to have it because he wanted to make a point to Epstein that you're not just going to, steal stuff from me and nothing's going to happen to you. I'm going to make sure that you pay for it. So he did the best he could to make that happen. Show you here. Here's the property right here. And somebody was asking that question, right? They wanted to learn. Um, how do you account for that? And I was letting them know, hey, look, right here, this is the property that they argued over, right? They live on this side of the waterway right here. So they live on the inside. This property was on the outer way and it had a 50-car garage under it sitting right on the beach. Think of that. What would two men who don't own 10 cars between the both of them want with a property with a 50-car garage underneath it? Especially a man who has an elevator, okay, in a two-story house. He probably wants a bigger basement. When Epstein saw this property, he knew that this was his opportunity to get everything he wanted. For Epstein to be going after a property of this size, look at it. For him to be going after a property of this size meant he had the money to do it. He had the means to do it, the ability to pull this off. This was going to be his crown jewel. So what did Trump do? Trump said, you keep stealing girls from me, you're going to stay in this little house. Trump teamed up with some people that he knew, and they went ahead and bought the deal right from underneath Epstein, and Epstein was furious. Furious about it. So whatever Epstein did, I'm sure pissed Trump off even more. And after that, I believe Trump went ahead and dropped the dime on Epstein about the girls. Here's the kicker. What Trump didn't realize, and which you need to go watch in this part right here. Also, I forgot about that, the bunker that was underneath Epstein Island. So Epstein was used to having bunkers under the ground. That's also right here, and how they got away with it, part one. This is a part of his lifestyle, these bunkers and these underground facilities. They don't want to tell you about that. They don't want to show you the hidden waterways and stuff like that. They don't want to show you the hidden waterways and the boarded up windows and all of that. They don't want you to know how the operation actually works, right? That's not what they want you to know. They're not interested in you learning any of that at all. Go watch this. You must go watch this, okay? You have to go watch it. It is very important. Now, I'm putting out a part two as well to this. This is not part two to this, but a lot of this information is, important from what I'm telling you now, right? So there was absolutely, absolutely, absolutely a reason for these gentlemen to fight over this space. So I believe that, and that's just my speculation at this point. I'm just telling you the rest of it. I believe honestly that Trump tried to drop a dime, if you will. He tried to snitch on Epstein, not as a hero of the story, as he tries to put it, but I believe he truly tried to snitch on Epstein just based on the fact that he was mad. He's upset, he's angry, he wanted to get the final word, he wanted to get the final lick in, if you will, and he figured the best way to do it was to take him out. But I don't think he understood how much of an asset Jeffrey Epstein really was. and I believe continues to be, is. And I believe that when Trump did that, he made a mistake. He made a mistake, and he immediately tried to correct it when he found out about the hidden cameras that were in the Epstein residence. That were, one was in the garage here, the other was this way, pointed out towards the water, right? And that's what I was showing you guys here, how the cameras were in here, pointed out towards the water. Now, for any camera that's in here pointed out towards the water, if the boat's coming around that little bend that I was just showing you up here, if it's coming around this little bend, right? Imagine a boat coming around. The boat's right here. It's right here. Okay. Right here. The camera that's inside the house, this isn't the same house. This is a rebuilt house, right? They tore down that old house. But the camera that's inside the house is right here. It's looking out across this area. It can see any boat that's in this area. Imagine the billionaires that are coming through this waterway to dock their boat right here in this private area, to come inside of this place to make sure that they can go upstairs and to wait for whoever they want, whoever's picked, to come up through this elevator to the second floor of this property. Again, this is where they came in, where they were, docking their boats in this area that's private area where they would have been able to pull in. They dock their boats, they go up the elevator, they go to the second floor, and they're able to participate in whatever they want to do in the second floor with the sex slaves that they want to do it with, and the massage tables that are throughout the different rooms of the second floor with the appointment books. This was an operation. This was a business. That is why there's so much data and so much information that they're never going to give you. Never going to give you. You got to rely on people like me to come explain to you why this isn't a straight line and why this is a fence area that allows boats to come in for private access. And look, I don't know if Google is in on it or not. This is obviously obscured from you knowing that there's water here. Okay? It's obscured on purpose. On purpose, you know? So this is not a game, guys. This information is heavy information. It doesn't exist anywhere in the world, you know? I'm bringing it to you the first time here, guys. And I appreciate you being here and listening, especially zoom this out down here. Brenda. Brenda is a rock star, right? Brenda stuck in here the whole time. Thank you, Brenda. I see you putting up your thumbs there. So you got a chance to see the little oops I did before this. Hey, Brenda. All right. Brenda's a rock star. And, she was just using these icons here, guys, like right there. See, I'm doing it to them on stage. And when you guys come in here, you can do the same thing, right? So she sat here for the whole recording. She's able to see, how PenPub works. And that's what I wanted to show you guys. This is my platform. It holds up pretty well. No software installs necessary. I'm able to screen share and share massive amounts of data and information with you without you installing anything. I can't be censored. I'm decentralized from any of the central controlled social media platforms. And I'm going to be leasing out my software and for you guys to use. So if you're an author and you have a book, you'll be able to come in here and have conversations with your people as well in a global, uncensored, decentralized way. Google Chrome is accessed by about 2 billion people a month. So that tells me that just Google Chrome, that one web browser alone, I'm able to take PenPub and put it in any of those Google Chrome web browsers anywhere in the world. That's over 2 billion people that can immediately hear me, watch what I'm talking about, and that I can share conversations with, like Brenda down there, share these meaningful conversations with, and be completely unaffected by social media algorithms. I also have push notifications built in here for the authors, so that when you're getting ready to go live, you can send out a push notification to all of your people, right? So that's why I'm saying I'm looking for investors to come on board to really get a chance to see the power of this platform that I'm building. I'm breaking news stories all the time. That's two breaking stories that you kind of have in one. I broke, which was, basically what I said was the biggest story in the world other day, which is Trump and Epstein, how they got away with it. Number two, which is how Trump is kind of an illegitimate president because he never did his FARA filing, his Foreign Agent Registration Act filing from the money that he gave to Israel in the 70s. Part two was going to be the biggest, right? It's going to be even bigger than part one. But before we even got there, God is so good that He allowed me to have this piece for you guys before we even get to part two. So we're still going to get to part two. I'm going to probably record that a little bit later on tonight or tomorrow. So you guys make sure you tune in for that. I don't want to keep you on here too long. I've already said enough. I just want you to come over to planbyty.com, right? And when you log in, you'll log into my book right here. You'll get a free trial version of it. You go ahead and go through it and check it out for yourself if you like. And there's a lot of great information in this book. It's from an interview that I did over 10 years ago. So you guys are more than welcome to do that. You're going to hit a paywall though, like right about right here, right? So that paywall is going to say, hey, you got a purchase planned, right? And you guys can easily just purchase my book by clicking that right there. It'll take you to that purchase page, or you can access it up here and just go to billing, right? You go ahead and do all of that. Everything is set up through Square, right? So you get a copy of the book, it brings you back, you're unlocked, and you can see the full book. That's a great way to support me. If this information has been more than $10 worth of information to you, and you want to donate more, please feel free to come over here to the donate button. And I'm trying to build out this platform. So anybody that donates, you're going on a special list once we actually take this out of beta and go, uh, you know, uh, go public, go global. All of the people who invested through donations or private investors, um, I'm going to do something special for them. So if you donate here and it's more than that, the $10 purchase of the book, you are going to you're going to be included in what I do moving forward once we get global distribution. So with all of that, thank you guys for being here. I hope that this information was valuable. I hope that this breakdown was valuable. I hope that you got everything that you came for. Thank you for the wait. I really appreciate you guys waiting for me to get this thing done. It was kind of a wild ride to get it done. We did it though, guys. We reached the finish line. We did it in under an hour. I said 30 minutes, but we got it done in under an hour. I'm super stoked about it, super excited. I wanted to get this thing right for you guys. So if I've done a good job, you're excited about this information and the implications of it, and you know that a coincidence plus another coincidence is not equal to just another coincidence. I want to make sure that you smash that like button, smash the share button, get it out there to everybody. I'm going to put it out here on X first. I'll probably have it uploaded here on my We Are Not Going to Mars. You guys make sure that you're following this. The easiest way to get to this is to go to my X profile. Okay, I'll show you that, guys, that real quick. Just go to my X profile, right? I want to put this back over here for you. You can also watch the Charlie Kirk series right here on my site, guys. You can watch that. I'm going to upload the new video today, right? I'll have the new one, part 5 up there. But if you want to watch part 5, right, you can go to my We Are Not Going to Mars on X right now. You can click on my link tree right there. I'll show you guys in real time, right? You click on that link tree, you're going to get 2 things at one time. You're going to get access to part 5, and you can watch that there and then go to the YouTube and comment in the comment section. And you're going to get access to PenPub right there. So once you click on PenPub, it's going to open you up right here. This is the beauty of being able to do all this on my computer. And you'll be able to go into PenPub that way. Now, you see, of course, I had the last page I had open on PenPub was, it goes to the last page you had open. And the last page I had open was that. So let's move it back. I have a lot of features built in here, guys. So you can also go into your settings if, customize your book to how you like it. Show the background if you want, the flying books that I have in the background, do your page count, all this stuff. Make sure you turn on your push notifications. Make sure you turn on your push notification so you know when I'm going live in this platform. It's the only way that you're going to know I'm going live is if you turn on those push notifications, right? Um, so that's kind of all I have for you guys. Click on that my link tree there, and you'll be able to see part 5. Yes, I did solve the Charlie Kirk Operation 322. That is completely solved. All the information is there. Everybody you see in this graphic was absolutely involved. Charlie was on the inside, guys, and he was on the inside. He wasn't a bad guy. And he was lower level, but they expected something from Charlie. He did not deliver, and then tried to pull away millions and millions of people. So it was an operation that was enacted, a multi-state operation. I break down all of the players. I break down the companies that were involved. I break down the platform, the drone platform that was involved, the Bird of Prey, by Elbit Systems. And as a matter of fact, Elbit Systems just became the biggest company in Israel the other day. The drone killing company just became the biggest company in Israel the other day, over 30,000 employees. Okay. And they have over 3,000 of them here in the United States of America through Elbit Systems of America, headquartered in Texas, with an office in Utah. So you got to go watch this right here. Go check out parts 4 and 5 of my series. Parts 1 through 3, you can check that out too. It's a 5-part, 8-hour series. But as long as you check out parts 4 and 5, you're going to get what you need. And if you don't have time to do that, watch this 30-minute. It's about 30. No, I think it's actually 33 minutes. 33-minute long video that just kind of breaks down everything. And no, I'm not saying 33 is in 33 like that dude over there. What's his name? Uh, the little guy, Patel. No, like when he jumped on the Charlie Kirk scene in 33 hours, 33 hours. I'm not doing that. This is not that kind of show over here with me. I got Mason stories, and we'll talk about that too on another broadcast. They wanted me bad, and I'll talk to you about that one day. But I'm not signaling and none of that other kind of stuff either. This is God's program, and this is God's broadcast. So let's set the record straight. When I did the recording, though, and when the AI did the breakdown of the 8-hour series and condensed it, it just happened to come out to 32 minutes and like 58 seconds, something like that. So it rounded, 33. So go check it out, guys. Go check it out. You're going to see that that was also solved as well. And I'm at my 1 minute mark. So if you guys, 1 hour mark. So if you guys stuck with me this long, thank you for being here. Get this information out to everybody you know, everybody you love, everybody you care about. Come on over here to planbyty.com and make sure you either purchase a copy of my book Plan, or you go right over here to donate and just leave a donation for more super, super powerful, super beneficial information like this. Who else in the world just proved to you that Jeffrey Epstein was married at the time of his quote unquote death, and that he was married to a man named Juan, and that he's actually probably still alive and operating J. Epstein and Company right now. So that's all I'll say there, guys. In closing, let's pray over the information as it gets out there to the world. Lord, we ask that this information touch the hearts and minds and of the people that are receiving it in the correct way. We ask that this information not only touches them in the correct way, that it is disseminated further from them unto other people who are able to understand it. And we ask that this information is actionable, Lord, that it doesn't cause stagnation in the heart, the soul, or the spirit, that instead it awakens us and causes us to become alive and realizing that we need action so that we can have unity and so that we can continue to spread the good news of your word, your gospel, and your salvation, Lord, and that being the only thing that we need. So we believe in Christ over here. We thank you, Lord, for sending your son to die on the cross for us. We thank you, Lord, for giving us power over all of these evil dominions, these evil demons within this physical realm. So you gave us the authority to trample on them, and that is exactly what we're doing, Lord, by your guidance, by your power, by your grace, by your will. So we thank you for that, Lord, and we ask for more opportunities to be able to expose all of the bondage that they want us to put all of us in collectively, Lord, so that we are able to keep our unalienable, God-given constitutional rights. We are the last freestanding democracy. We are currently unaccountable throughout the world, but we are the last part of the system of checks and balances that exists, Lord, is the people of your kingdom, the kingdom of Christ. And we understand these battles that we're facing in these times, Lord. So we ask that you continue to give us the armor and the ability to be able to fight these demons in the way that we need to fight them, Lord. We thank you for the strength. We thank you for the guidance. We thank you for your grace. In your holy name we pray. Amen. With that, guys and girls, this broadcast is done. Make sure you sign up at planbytie.com. And that's all I have for you. I'm not editing this in any kind of way. I'm just putting it out raw to you guys. I'm gonna put out another 5-minute, 10-minute long video to kind of promote this a little bit. But until the next time, guys, stay alert, stay alive. Love you guys. Take care. Remember, Christ is King.